Okay.
Hey guys, I'm so glad that you guys are giving us a second opportunity to share this information with you. We do apologize for we had some technical difficulties going live, but we still wanted to make sure that you guys have the information that we promised to share with you. So thank you for joining Yummy Lifestyle by Keem's Eat and Chat, Managing Your Life During the Pandemic. And this is episode 3, which is about getting your makeup bag ready and being Zoom ready in this crazy time that we're in. I'm joined by Jennifer Mack, who is a professional makeup artist. Her handle is Beauty by J Mack. And Jennifer has been so kind to offer her services today to share with us the 10 essential items you should have in your makeup bag. So, what do we do? We have to be ready.
I know. Well, Keem, thank you for that gracious welcome. And I'm just glad that we're able to figure this out, and make sure that you guys get this information because these are definitely just really crazy times right now. And there's a lot of Zoom calls and things like that. And some of the things that I hear my friends saying are like, they don't wear makeup to go out, but they do wear makeup for work, so you can still, look professional and presentable at home. So what I'm going to share with you are just 10 essential items that are needed for a basic face. So this is not anything advanced. There's no advanced highlighting and contouring in this look, but just enough to get you polished because I'm sure you don't want to do too much for a Zoom call, right? You just want to look awake and present at work or whatever you're doing on Zoom. So here we go. The first thing that you want to do, I'm going to start with the base, right? You want to make sure that your skin is nice and even. What I will recommend is either a light to medium foundation, just depending on your skin and the amount of coverage that you need. But a light to medium foundation will work excellent for Zoom. And what I like to use is the MAC Face and Body foundation. The reason why I like this is because it's lightweight, it evens out the skin tone, and I can use my hands. And when I just want to do something simple and I don't have time to reach for a ton of tools, just having products that I can use my hands with is really helpful. So with this, it's really easy to apply. Just squeeze a little bit in your hands, rub them together, and it's almost like a tinted moisturizer. So I think now is a great time to look for a tinted moisturizer if you don't have one. If not, just whatever foundation that you're accustomed to or that you have in your kit, just stick with it.
Now, there's some kind of a nickname that's used for tinted moisturizers, or I'm seeing like these YouTube girls, they use this phrase and they're referring to a tinted moisturizer, but there weren't a lot that are out there for brown girls. Do you know what I can't remember what it is right now, but it's some I don't know. Anyway, I thought you might know.
Yeah, I have to look into that. I haven't heard of another name for tinted moisturizer. I'll
yeah,
that.
There's some nickname, but so be it. I'm glad that there's one for brown girls because that was one of the things that some of the YouTube makeup artists were saying. Like, there isn't one for us. You know what I mean? And so if you use a tinted moisturizer, sometimes it causes a cast, like a white cast on your skin. So show me that again, the one that you're using.
So this is a MAC Face and Body Foundation. It's not necessarily a tinted moisturizer, but it does have more of a luminous and dewy finish. And it's water-based. So to me, it gives off the effect of a tinted moisturizer.
Got it.
One of the reasons why people like tinted moisturizers is because it has the sunscreen element in it. So you can moisturize, you can do sunscreen, and you can cover in one step as opposed to those being 3 separate items. The white cast would either be caused by the moisturizer, like the tone just not being your skin tone, or the sunscreen.
The SPF, right, exactly.
Yeah, the SPF does tend to have a cast to it. So I would say that you probably, these are different times, but Sephora is open. And if you go there and tell them that, you're looking specifically for a tinted moisturizer, they will work with you one-on-one to make sure you get what you need. But I probably wouldn't just buy one at random based on the color.
Exactly.
That's something that I would want to test out get a sample
Right.
of it, wear it, take pictures, see how it looks.
Exactly.
Yeah. All right. So we have our base.
Oh, and here are mine. These are the ones that I use. Just to show people, you know, options. I use Fenty, and I also use the Maybelline. What is this called? The Fit Me and
Maybelline
Elf.
Fit Me. Yes, I have that one too.
Yeah,
And
and there's two. There's a. I'm sorry. What'd you say?
I said this one is a dewy and smooth formula.
Exactly. They have a matte version also, and these are drugstore, so they're very affordable. And then Elf has a good one also. I just bought a whole bunch of Elf ones. Their colors are interesting, so I'm trying to test out what it is, because they had a lot of cool tones, and I'm not a cool tone, so I sort of had to zhuzh it with other foundations to try to make it work. But it's also good and affordable. So that's all I wanted to share.
Okay, I will say for the Maybelline Fit Me, you do want to be careful because the applicator, there isn't one, which is another reason why I tend to grab this one versus this one.
Exactly.
You just want to be mindful of those things. Those are small things that will make a huge difference in just the convenience of what's in your makeup and how you use it.
And you'll be wasting product, because I've done that. It spills out, and I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. So that's the only downside that I've experienced with that formula. Like what I'm supposed to do, especially like I'm not getting ready at home, you know.
Right.
All right. So next we're going to conceal, and my go-to tends to be cream, because I can just use my fingers and go. So this is the MAC Studio Finish Concealer. I like it because, like I said, I just do one of these. I go right underneath my eye, and like it covers. Your fingers are like your best blending tools. So you'll be able to just really even it out without having to do much work and reach for a lot of tools to get a finished look. Again,
that's awesome, because I stay away from concealer because, you know, I've got like bad, like, you know what I mean? So like if I start to apply concealer and then I put the powder, and then there's a certain way you got to put it on so that it doesn't sit in the creases, it's just too much. So I try to use a lighter makeup, whatever it is, and I avoid concealer. But that one I would try, because most of the other concealers come with the stupid brush, and it's too much.
Try, because you can control the amount of product that you put on. I just find it easy. I think that cream is the best way to go. But
I like that.
Point, yeah.
And also as you get older, I find that like if you stay away from powders, like creams are kind of your best friend, because you want to keep the moisture in your face. And if you start packing on powder, before you know it, it looks crazy. It starts to look really crazy. Like all that sets in creases where you don't want it to set.
Yeah, that is a really great point. I mean, with layering products, you need to be mindful of how much you're actually putting on. And when you watch these videos and you don't really have a good gauge of exactly like what they're putting on, especially when it comes to the amount of foundation you use, the amount of concealer you use, and like powders, I find to be especially tricky, because you have pressed powder, you have loose powders, you have bronzers, you know, you have blushes, like all those powder products. So. But yeah,
I love that cream. I'm gonna definitely try it.
Give it a try. It's one of my favorites. Like it's in my makeup bag forever. I'll try other things, but I'll always make sure that I have that. I do have a liquid as well. This one is the Super Stay. I tend to pair it with my Maybelline Fit Me because they are the same, you know, product line. I did like.
Oh, so that's a Maybelline Super Stay?
Yes.
Okay.
Maybelline Super Stay.
And the other one was MAC, right?
Yeah,
the cream was MAC.
MAC Studio Finish. This one has a really nice applicator. And I tend, when I use this, like I can blend it out with my fingers, but like I just prefer to use a brush.
Can I see the applicator?
So the applicator looks something like this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. And so when you apply it, do you like dabble it, or do you do like that triangle and all of that craziness?
Ooh, that's a good question. I tend to, I'm going to pull it out so I can actually demonstrate, but I'll kind of I do a sweep.
Okay.
Yeah, so I do a sweep. I don't do like the big triangle, like If I were to do one of those methods, I would probably dot the concealer because you really want to control the amount of product that you put on.
Right.
But like, because I'm just so familiar with what to put on, like I just do a sweep.
Got it.
I blend it out. But I usually kind of start from here and here, and that's usually enough product to blend all the way out.
Right. And
So
you blend it with your finger, or do you blend it with a sponge or a brush? Or does it depend?
It depends really. Like a lot of times if I want to really, because it's a good question. Like this is what I generally use for concealer because I like how it fits here and it's fluffy enough to
Right.
kind of blend out. But sometimes if there is a lot of product underneath the size of the brush, it can blend out too much. So I like to start with my finger to have a little bit more control over where the product goes. And then once I've placed it, then I will kind of go in and blend it. And this is really good for blending out the edges. When you're putting on concealer, you want to make sure that like you're buffing out the edges so nobody sees where it ends.
Right.
That's what's going to make it look flawless.
And the other question I have is, do you let the concealer dry before, or I'm probably not using the right terminology, but like I've noticed, like I'll put concealer on. If I go in right away with a sponge to blend it, then it becomes splotchy and it doesn't, like, it's almost like you have to let it set and dry before you start to blend out the edges. Is that correct?
I think it depends. You know, I mean,
it probably depends on the product.
It depends on the product. It can depend on the skin type, how you prep your skin. Like there's a number of different things that can give you that effect.
Mm-hmm.
What I usually see people do when they leave the concealer there is that if you let it dry down a little bit, you get more coverage.
Maybe that's what I'm trying to say. Yeah, because if I start to do this, then it spreads and it's not giving me the coverage that I need. So I guess that's what it is.
Right. That's a trick. Like if you want it to be a little bit more opaque, like full coverage, if you let it dry down a bit, like it won't have as much movement, right?
Okay.
So it won't spread out as much because it'll be partially dry, and so you'll be able to keep that coverage. Sometimes when you go in immediately, it can shear it out more than
right. That
might wind up adding more. So yeah, you can let it dry down for about like 10, 20 seconds,
right?
Longer. That you'll have to play with to see how, you know, how much you coverage you want. But
the sheerness, that's a good point. So the sheerness means that it's a buildable concealer. Like if it shears out, then that means, okay, you can add more on top of it until you get what you need, or you can let it dry down a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, but generally, like this is a full coverage foundation, so if I'm gonna blend it out, I won't really expect it to sheer out, you know. So I think it's one of those things where it's trial and error, and you have to play with it. But exactly. General rule of thumb, if you let it dry down for a little bit, maybe like 30 seconds before you start to blend it out, you should have more coverage and shouldn't have to reapply. Like I never really have to reapply my concealer. Also, in terms of tools. I kind of shy away from keeping a sponge in like my makeup bag. I don't know. When I think of makeup bag, I think of like me going to like travel somewhere with it. Sponges can hold bacteria and things like that. And so it's like if you're gonna keep a sponge, you need to make sure that you're keeping up with the maintenance of it so that you're not, you know, jeopardizing the health of your skin.
Right.
Also, like you'll have to find some place to like wet the sponge and things like that. So I generally like to just keep some basic brushes in my kit for that.
Got it.
But, you know, it's about your preference. That's just mine.
Right. Okay, cool.
Okay. So cover, conceal, set, right?
Yes.
So to set, if we're talking about very basic here, I think that you just need one powder. Right, and I have right here from my travel bag like just a skin tone powder. So this is gonna match the base of my foundation, and I'll also use it underneath my eye, and I'll use brushes for it generally. If you want to take it a step further, you can have a powder for your face and then another powder for underneath your eyes, and that can be pressed or loose. I will say that I've tested it out, and I've done like pressed powder on one side with a brush, and I've done a loose powder on the other side with a sponge, and the loose powder with a sponge definitely stays longer and doesn't crease as much.
Got it.
So it's up to you. It's not super like noticeable. Like I'm not saying if you use like a pressed powder underneath your eye that like it's definitely gonna look horrible. It's not the case, but you will get more insurance with a loose powder underneath the eye if you want to take it a step further.
So you just said something interesting that made me question some of my technique. So if I, in cases of any kind of a loose powder, whether it's like I showed you the Juvia's when we were live, the Juvia's highlighter or the Laura Mercier, is that what this is? Translucent powder. Am I supposed to be using a damp sponge? Because I don't. I just use a little, I don't use a lot, and I place it very specific. You know, I don't go like that. And I let it sit for a few minutes, and then I dust it off, or I might finish with a finishing spray. Because I don't like a dry, matte face.
Gotcha.
So I guess my question is, with this Laura Mercier, am I supposed to be wetting a sponge when I use this?
Is that the loose powder? Like, is it the matte one?
It says translucent loose setting powder.
Yes. You can set that with a wet or dry sponge.
Okay.
I usually take a dry sponge.
Right.
Like, yeah, I usually take a dry sponge and just press underneath.
Okay.
You can do it with a wet sponge too. A wet sponge will give you more of an airbrush look, but they both will look nice.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right, cool.
Try both one day and see. But
yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Just wanted to check myself, make sure I'm doing it right, because I'm like, wait a minute.
You're doing it fine. So boom, cover, conceal, set, and now we're gonna move on to the next feature, which are the brows. Now the brows frame your eyes. So I tend to do brows because it'll show me how much space I have to work with before I actually apply my makeup. And for my brows, I go with a powder, and I actually use an eyeshadow for it. So you can get a little bit creative. One product isn't just for one thing, right?
I've done that before. When I ran out of, because for years I had this MAC, it was like this little pod that had, it was like eyebrow powder. I don't know what you call it. And I had it forever. And then it finally ran out, and I was like, oh, what do I do? Because I really didn't know. And I had eyeshadow. I saw some tutorial, and I tried it. But I find I'm too heavy-handed with the powder. So the gel works a little bit better for me, this is the one that I have. And this is just, what the heck is this? I did this before. I don't know what this brand is. I can't tell what it is. I don't know if it's NYX. Oh, it's Milani. This is Milani.
Nice.
And it's just, it just comes with the gel and the spoolie and anyway. So continue, sorry.
No, you're fine. So for my brows, like I use this NARS Shadows Coconut Grove. It's a beautiful, rich, dark brown.
Ooh.
And it's just, it works.
That's a great idea.
Yeah. When you're looking for a shadow for your eyebrows, if you want to use eyeshadow, look for something that has more of like that grayish undertone. For someone like you see how like your brows are a little bit more like a hint of gray, they're soft. Yeah, you want to look for something like that in your brow color, unless you want it to be dark like mine. But generally, you want a softer brow, something with a little bit of a hint of gray or like charcoal in it. Yeah.
Right.
So like a gray brown sort of thing.
Right.
Kind of what brows tend to look like. But I use this, and I need an angled brush for it.
Right.
So that's my go-to. You can also use, just like that one, you can also use a brow gel. So a brow gel is going to give you more of generally like a more like painted on brow look. Unless you have like, you have to work with your technique. So with Keem and her brow technique, it's not like that painted on look, right? It still looks very natural, but you need practice with it because, it's generally going to look more, that's what it's designed for. It's kind of
I've learned to not be so heavy-handed because I've seen some pictures of myself and I'm like, girl, you went too heavy with that. I mean, it still looks nice, but it's like, really? Was that the look you were going for?
There's a learning curve to it for sure. I'd say the safest bet is a brow pencil. Like if you're a beginner and you don't really just have time or you don't want to really invest that much, then go for a brow pencil.
And I was making the mistake. I would start naturally with this part of my eye and work my way back. And I learned when you first put whatever product is on your brush, there's more product on this. So you should start from the middle going back and then go to the front. Because by that time, there's less product on there and you're not so heavy-handed. You don't have those crazy, like, heavy brows in the middle. So that was like a little...
Absolutely. That's a great tip, too. Like,
that was a little trick I learned.
Yeah. And that was just by, like, trial and error. And, like, that's definitely what a professional makeup artist will tell you to do. So...
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, cool.
So, brows, eyes. For eyes, I recommend just getting a nice, simple makeup palette that you like. Something compact, something that's easy to travel with, and something that, like, has colors that work with your skin tone.
Right.
We look at the colors because a lot of times they'll just throw in a bogus color that you're probably never going to use. And it might be 2 or 3 of those.
Right.
So don't focus, like, when you're looking at the colors, look at the whole picture. This is my, one of my go-to palettes for traveling or just having in my makeup bag. And this is by Huda Beauty. It's the Topaz palette.
Right.
She has about 6 different collections within this line. You have greens, blues, purples, but I chose the warmer palette because if you look at the colors, browns and golds and these jewel tones will just work well for any occasion. And there's a range even within the neutrals, so I can go more natural or I can go a little bit more glam, and I have more range with my look using just this simple palette. So
that's a good one.
Yeah.
You said that's called the Topaz palette?
The Topaz palette. She has one a little bit more bronze that's beautiful too, and is on my wish list.
Right. And are her palettes affordable? I've never looked into that brand. Like when I say affordable.
This was $27.
So that, to me, that's affordable.
$27 for 9 colors.
Yeah.
You know, and I can use all of them. I mean, the only one I probably wouldn't use as much as this one because it's just so yellow.
Right.
But yeah, $27, so super affordable. The pigments are wonderful. The colors are really vibrant. So you definitely be happy with the Huda Beauty palette.
Okay.
Eyes and then eyeliner. So eyeliner, you don't really have to go crazy. I went to the drugstore and got this liner from NYX. This liner was like $8.99. They do have liners that are like $4.99 as well. The reason why this one costs a little bit more is because the formula is more of a gel formula. And I would say that a gel formula is something that you really want to look for with your eyeliner because you want something that glides.
Right.
Like skip because it's just such a dry kind of pencil or like almost hurts when you're trying to bring it across. You want something that's just easy. And so,
how do you know it's a gel formula?
Well, it'll say it a lot of the time.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this pencil slide on, glide on, stay on, and it's a waterproof extreme shine eyeliner. I mean, the glide on helps me, but like in the actual display, they have advertising that tells you that like it's gel. That's how I was able to find this one.
Got it. Okay. Mm-hmm. So it's worth the extra coins because
it's definitely worth it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Because I went and bought the wrong one because I was being cheap and I was like, oh, right, $4.99, you know, and I brought it home and I was like, oh my God.
Exactly.
So yeah. Couple extra bucks, but it goes a long way.
Exactly.
After you get your liner on, you want to put your mascara on. So this is Bare Minerals Lashtopia. I would go for a wand that's a little bit more fluffy.
Okay.
So a fluffy wand is going to be really great at giving you a bit more volume for your lashes. Yes.
So that's why this is a good mascara because it's got that fluffy wand. Mm-hmm. So I guess that's it. It's all about the wand shape in terms of what you're going to get out of the.
Yes. So like if a wand is a little bit more fluffy, you'll get more volume. If it's a bit more on like the plastic side, I don't know if you can see the difference.
Yes, I
This is
can.
going to really help to separate and lengthen,
Got it.
but it's
Okay.
not going to make them look, really fluffy per se. So
Got it.
some people have two. Like they like to separate and lengthen and then add volume to it.
Mm-hmm.
For your mascara, don't be shy with it. Like if you don't want to wear lashes, but you still want them to look prominent, but you don't want to wear falsies, don't be afraid to put 2 or 3 coats on there just to really give them that full look.
And how do you wait for the mascara to dry in between each coat?
Yeah.
Or, okay.
Yeah. So I would say put 1 coat on, maybe wait about 15 to 30 seconds, put another coat on, and keep building.
Okay.
Until you're happy.
Definitely.
Yeah. So our face is done, our brows are done, our eyes are done, all this.
Oh, and I have a question. Well, on Zoom, would you say that people should wear false eyelashes or should they just build up the mascara?
I would say unless, you're doing a birthday Zoom or something like that with your
Mm-hmm.
friends, like, I think for work, like, less is more.
Right, I agree.
And sometimes the lashes, especially like if you're not an expert on lash placement and things like that, you kind of don't, because think about it, if you're on a Zoom call, everybody's just looking at each other's face, and so there's so much focus on just this place right here. There's no other distractions. So if you're wearing a bold lip or like your eyelash is off center or something is just off, it's going to be noticeable and people are going to be staring and you won't
Right.
know.
Right.
Well, so if you don't really want that attention, I would just keep it simple.
And also lashes are, to me, it's all trial and error. Like I never know when I buy a lash what it's going to look like until I try it on. And one thing you don't want is a heavy false eyelash. And you're like, I've had that happen where I thought I was going to wear a lash to go out. And then I put them on and I was like, this is too much, so you're right. You don't want to be dealing with that when you're on a professional.
No, it's it's not even needed.
Right.
It's not needed. Like it's not a photo shoot. You're not on a billboard or anything like that. And I think if you're like, on a Zoom with your friends, then by all means, go ahead and have fun and experiment as your friends. But I just think in the work environment, less is more.
Do you have on a lash now?
I do.
You do. Those are good, because they're not too much. I wasn't sure. I was like, maybe she just did a whole bunch of mascara.
Oh no, I actually wore a lash. I wore a lash for you.
And what lash is that? A Kiss Envy? Like who do you use?
So lashes can cost so much money, but like
I buy the inexpensive ones. I'm not doing all that.
Yeah, so this is actually what I'm wearing. I'm wearing a Kiss lash, and this one is called So Wispy.
Oh, I've tried that.
Mm-hmm.
I've tried that one.
So this one is actually like, it's natural looking, but it's a little bit more on the bold side of that. So like when you look at lashes, when they're separated in bigger clumps, that means it's going to be a bolder lash. But it's like just individual hairs and they're kind of like evenly placed, that's going to be more of a natural.
Got it.
It's a natural lash pattern.
I didn't know that. That's good advice. Thank you.
Yeah. So let me see if I can, like this one, you see the bigger clumps kind of in between.
That'll be more natural.
No, that one could be more. Maybe that's not. These are also longer too.
And I didn't realize also that you can buy lashes different lengths. And I bought these lashes. They look so pretty. And then I got them and they were like mad long. They were so long that they were touching my glasses. I was like, I couldn't wear them because they were just I didn't realize that they were different lengths to lashes.
You have to pay attention. So like, even like if you're picking up a style, like for instance, I just showed you guys So Wispy. They'll have So Wispy 07, 08.
I was just about to ask you, are there different numbers? Because I feel like,
so you'll have the style, but there's different lengths per style.
Got it. And what length are you wearing? Is that 06?
This one is So Wispy 10.
Oh, okay.
But There's so many, there's different codes to it. So this one the style is KPE 69, right?
Okay.
But this one is also a So Wispy. And the lash is a little bit different. You can't really tell because I'm wearing this one.
Right.
This is KPE 67.
Got it.
So they're
So
different
you just gotta,
styles,
yeah.
different lengths, same name.
And
Right?
you gotta just,
So,
right.
so yeah, you really want to pay attention to the shape. And it's like the thinner, like the less volume the lash looks like it has, like usually the more natural it's gonna be.
Got it. Okay.
Okay.
Cool.
Hope that made sense, guys.
It did to me.
All right. So last step, lips.
Lips.
And for me personally, like my makeup is not done unless I have a liner and a lip.
Right.
A lip color, I should
That
say.
is so true. Like I'll have everything on, but until you put that lip on,
It just brings it together.
yes.
And I love a good lip liner to add some definition to my lip shape. So this is a Makeup Forever pencil. It's M60. It's a really deep brown, so it's good for someone who's my skin tone.
Right.
I would say you want to definitely get a liner that complements your skin tone, but also gives it a little bit of definition. So you don't want a lip liner like that's the exact same color. You want something that's a little darker.
Right.
It should be able to go with a beige or a brown or a pink.
Right.
You know, you want like one liner that'll work for a whole bunch of neutrals.
My Old Faithful is Mac Chestnut. I've had that thing
chestnut?
forever.
I use chestnut. Wow.
It works. I mean, it depends. Like I can't put it too heavy because it'll turn whatever it is into a darker, like heavier look. But yep. Where is it? You're gonna laugh because this pencil is like, I need a new one. Look at it. But that's the one. And then there's another one that I just recently, it's a NYX pencil. It's a little bit lighter than that. And I like to use that with, my lighter shade lips, which it's funny because when I look at my makeup bag, I'm like, are all my lipsticks the same? My lip glosses, are they all in the same color and family? Like I tend to go toward like a pink. Even when I wear lipstick, it's a pink. The vibrant will be a pink.
Well, for some reason, I don't love pinks on me. And I don't think it's that they look bad. I just think you get, once you start to learn like what makeup you like, you just kind of know like these are my colors. And this is
exactly
what I'm accustomed to. So from my glosses, I like the NYX Butter Glosses.
I love those.
I have quite a few of these. These are just two that I pulled out. One is a little bit more beige. One is a little bit deeper. I have some and it's a little bit more on the pinky side. It's like a brownie, but love them. They're super affordable. They're like $5.99.
They're so cheap.
A ton of colors. They feel great.
They are amazing. So, now, do you put the liner on first or do you put the gloss on first?
I put the liner on first, and then I blend out the edges of the liner a little bit so it's not such a harsh line.
Right.
Then I'll put the lip gloss in, or if I'm cheating and I'm in a rush, I'll put the lip liner on, put the gloss over it, and just...
That's what I do. I constantly cheat. Because that's the way I do it. Mm-hmm. That is the way and then I've learned to start building colors, like lip glosses. At first, I used to just put like one color on, and then one day I was just playing around, and I was like, "Oh wow!" Like it started giving me a different dimension, which is why I have the 3 of them. And this, have you ever heard of this company called Sarcastic?
I have not.
It's a Black-owned company. I was watching this Christian artist. Her name is Lexi, and she does makeup also. And she was bigging this up, so I was like, oh, let me try it because it's Black owned, and I love this color. It's called Clearly You Nosy.
I love that.
But this color is fantastic. It doesn't look like how it looks on your lip. Like it adds some other kind of dimension and shimmer and gloss to whatever lipstick you put on.
I would say that if you want to like really just have like a nice range to work with, you want something that's maybe a little deeper. You want something that's in the pink family. You want something that's like really close to your natural lip tone, and you want something like light in case you want to add like a touch of like lightness to the center.
Right.
So that's if you want to get crazy with your glosses. If you don't, then just stick to like a nice neutral.
And you, what red is that? Is that Mac Ruby Foo?
No.
No.
No, so mine is this is actually a Makeup Forever color.
Oh,
It's
okay.
403. This one is a beautiful color, and it's a universal red. So like it would look great on your skin tone. Like I think it looks good on my skin tone. Like it's one of those reds that kind of like a Ruby Woo. Ruby Woo works well.
Oh, I called it Ruby Foo. It was Ruby Woo.
Ruby Woo. I thought you did that on purpose.
No, Ruby Foo is that movie, isn't it? Yeah.
Is it Ruby Foo or
I think,
or
whatever. I'm like mixing them all up. Woo Foo.
Yeah, but a nice red is good to have as well. I think every woman should explore reds.
Right.
I think that there's a red for everyone.
I've always been afraid. It took me a long time to wear a red lip. I always thought a red lip was like just too much. Like just
yeah.
Like it just felt like, I don't know how to say it without, I don't want to be disrespectful, but red just seemed too like out there for me. But that was because I didn't have the right lip, the right red color for my lip. And I had to go in and try all these different reds until I found one that I really liked.
It's a process. It's a process. And I think there's also a level of comfort that you need to have in order to wear red. Otherwise, it doesn't matter what red you wear. It's just like, if you're not really...
It took me a minute. I remember I was like, oh, I can't wear red lipstick. I don't know why. Like, it just was like, ugh. It was also the same thing with eyeshadow. For years, I could not wear eyeshadow. I couldn't wear colorful eyeshadow. I was like, it's too much. But that's because I didn't know how to apply the makeup. So one thing I would say is don't be afraid to try different colors until you feel comfortable with what look you're trying to go for, but don't be afraid of it, because you might discover something fun.
That's such a great point. Don't be afraid, because it's makeup and it comes off.
Exactly. You can always take it off. That's so good.
So just trying on a color, it's not gonna hurt. It's not permanent. And you might surprise yourself. Definitely surprise yourself. I will say, while we're talking about a red lip, if you're gonna wear a red lip, you need to invest in at least a foundation, or you want to have a concealer on, because what a bold lip color does is it exposes all of your imperfections. It's just something about a bold color that, like, if you're around your mouth is a little bit darker, it's going to look even more dark because there's a bold lip.
Right.
It's going to bring out any darkness underneath your eyes. It just has a way of just bringing out just imperfections in your skin. So be mindful of that. That might also be why, if you're afraid of a red, it might be because you don't have the other.
That's a really good point. And before we end this, I wanted to talk a little bit about how important it is to take care of your skin and get a smooth palette before you even apply makeup. If we could talk about that a little bit.
Okay. So what Keegan was talking about is it sounds like prepping your face. And what a lot of people don't really, I think about makeup is that it's chemistry, right? So we all have different skin types, which means that products are going to react differently with it. So what you want to do with your skin is make sure that it's clean, number one. And the cleansing process is going to depend on whether you have oily skin or dry skin and that sort of thing. So you definitely want to explore what products work best with that type of skin. And then you want to, after you do your moisturizer, you want to do your primer. Primer is the last step in skincare and the first step in makeup. So based on your skin type, you might want to have a hydrating primer, which is good for normal to good for all skin types, really, hydrating. But if you have more of a oily skin type, then you want to go for something that's a little bit more mattifying. So that's prepping, right? Making sure that your face is clean and fresh, and that you have the right primer on so that your makeup goes on smoothly. And in
Right.
taking your makeup off, I like to double cleanse. So I use an oil-based cleanser. My skin is on the drier side, so it works for my skin, but I just think oil kind of loosens everything
I
up,
love it. Yes, I
you know?
agree.
I recently found an oil cleanser from Burt's Bees. A lot of them, it's not just like it's going to be oil and sticks on your face. It's like once it mixes with water, it turns into a lather. So it's no longer oily, but you can use that product to really loosen up everything, especially around the eyes. I find that a lot of my makeup, especially mascara, like
Yep.
takes a long time to remove. So after I get the oil cleanser off, then I want to use something hydrating and fresh to kind of bring my skin back from having something so heavy on it. So
Yes. I learned, and for years, I never was taking care of my skin properly. I wasn't, like, I would go to bed with makeup on, and like my sister would be like, if you don't wash that makeup, like, you're ridiculous. You're going to ruin your skin. Never listened to her. I was lucky where that didn't affect me.
Mhm.
But I see such a difference now with just simple steps that I'm taking to take care of my skin. And even when I don't have makeup on, my skin looks like, wow, like it's like a new person. And all it is the fact that I'm actually doing, like, I'll do face steams, I'll do face masks. But I make sure that even if I don't have makeup on, I'm washing my face
In the least, right?
at night and in the
Yeah.
morning. Because even if you don't have on makeup, your face is still getting dirty. I think people don't think about that. You know what I mean? Like with an actual face cleanser, not just throwing some water on it in the shower or using soap, you know? And I've noticed a huge difference, like, whew, big difference.
So there you have it. And everyone's skincare, like I've seen really extensive skincare routines. Some people using up to 10 products to cleanse their face. And then me, I'm just, if you haven't noticed, I'm a less is more kind of gal unless the occasion calls for it. So the simpler the better for me, especially at nighttime. I'm tired and I don't want to go through like an extensive routine. So I use a couple of products to wash my face. But you find what's best for you, but just make sure that you are paying attention to that aspect of it, especially if you're going to be wearing makeup.
And then the utensils, like, is that the right word to use, or is it?
Well, so tools are going to be very
Tools.
important.
I'm like utensils because I'm thinking food.
No, it's fine.
So keeping those tools clean is like, you will jack up your skin, because what'll happen is if you don't clean your brushes and your sponges, you'll start to see little, I don't know what you call them. It's almost like little bumps on your face. It won't be smooth because of the bacteria.
Your skin will react, and you might start to see some texture.
There you go. Yep.
So yeah, definitely cleaning your brushes. I use a brush cleaner. It's actually more of an industry product. It's called Cinema Secrets.
I love that stuff.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So this is good because you can just spray your brushes down and just wipe them off on a paper towel, and it'll clean them like new. So I do that generally to just get the makeup off the brushes so that the next time I'm using them, it's like a blade and the color goes on well. And I would say to deep clean your brushes about every 1 to 2 weeks.
Right. I found that same stuff from Sephora because I went in there and I was like, look, I've been washing my sponges and my brushes. It's driving me crazy. My brushes take forever to dry. Like I have to have more than one set so that the clean ones, then I can rotate. I was like, it's too much. Like there's got to be an easier way. And the guy was like, he said, oh, try this. He gave me the one with the little tin. So you just dip your brush in like not even like a quarter of the way. And it just magically takes everything out of the brush. I was like, oh, this is it. This is it. Yeah. You know? Because it shouldn't be. I've seen people go through all types of ways that they're cleaning their brushes and their sponges, and I'm like, this is ridiculous. I've got sponges and brushes laid out, and they're still not dry, and I can't use them. Like, it's too much. So that stuff is amazing.
Yeah. I definitely wouldn't be able to survive without a product like that. So
yes.
The Secrets brush cleaner.
All right. So this was amazing. Thank you so much, Jen.
Like, so much fun.
Oh, my God. This was I love stuff like this. Like talk about beauty and makeup, and we could just stay talking about this for hours.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you for having me. This was a really great conversation. I hope that these tips were helpful. I think that these 10 products will help you to get exactly what you need just for a really polished, basic look.
And we're picking a winner for the giveaway, which will be, Jen will be doing, she'll be helping you, she'll do like a makeup bag consultation. So she'll be helping you go through your makeup bag and, you know, figure it out. Like, what do you have? What is it that you may need? Blah, blah, blah. And so the winner, we're going to pick the first person that follows both of us and puts a lipstick in the comments will be the winner. And we may already have a winner because this is technically the replay.
Yeah.
But please do comment. And if you have any questions about makeup or you want to see more content like this, let me know and we'll do more. All right, you guys. Thank you so much for coming.
Bye.
Love you all. We'll see you in the next episode.